commentated on the game a couple of weeks ago when he gets substituted, and I'm like, that is brutal. This is
That was after the 30th minute against Newcastle United.
Yeah, 25, 30 minutes. I'm in the stadium. I've not seen Old Trafford react like that really for a long time, and it felt a real brutal, horrible moment for the young lad and for this, obviously someone who's basically sort of trying to make his way in England and for a huge club.
We'll get back to Gary in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And also, don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And also, if you've got something to say, if you think I am talking nonsense, if you feel as though we've missed something, please put it in the comments. I read all of the comments and I enjoy engaging with the viewers. Now, in this video, Gary Neville is going to be talking about Joshua Zirkzee after his performance against Arsenal in the FA Cup, in what was a fantastic result for Manchester United. And I want you to think about, what are your true opinions of Joshua Zirkzee? The spotlight is on him at the moment and has been for negative reasons over the past sort of few weeks. But I want to know, what are your thoughts about Joshua Zirkzee now after his performance against Arsenal? And stick around after the clip because I'm going to be giving my thoughts on our new Dutch signing.
Okay, Peloton moment of the week, Gary. You're going for what?
Yeah, it was a bad Saturday, Salford losing 8-0, but it was a pretty good Sunday. It's the moment where, it was obviously United's victory over Arsenal, but it's the moment where Joshua Zirkzee stands up, and I commentated on the game a couple of weeks ago when he gets substituted, and I'm like, that is brutal. This is
That was after the 30th minute against Newcastle United.
Yeah, 25, 30 minutes. I'm in the stadium. I've not seen Old Trafford react like that really for a long time, and it felt a real brutal, horrible moment for the young lad and for this, obviously someone who's basically sort of trying to make his way in England and for a huge club. For him to be in this position and score that winner only a few weeks later, I think it was a great moment. I think that it was a moment for not just obviously him, but for United as well, because it was a big moment that he should not say recover. He's got a long way to go to prove that he can be a Manchester United striker, but it balances out. And hearing the Manchester United fans singing his name after the game on Sunday, I thought was a really good moment.
That's what football can give us, those moments.
Yeah.
Just talk to us about how that works. So he took the fifth penalty. Is that something that he would have said, I want to do the fifth, or I'll just take a penalty, and then Ruben Amorim put him as fifth? Like, how does that work?
I think there's a sort of migration now towards the best penalty takers taking the first ones, because sometimes in the past you can say your best penalty taker takes the fifth one and all of a sudden they end up redundant because it's not got there. So that's happened a few times in big competitions. So I think now the best ones go first. I suspect he's just been given the fifth one. Maybe he's asked for it. Maybe he's been given it. But it's one of those penalties that is going to be either you have to score to stay in the game or score to win the game. So if it gets there, So if it gets to the fifth, it's going to be an important penalty one way or the other. Now, when he stepped up, thankfully it was a penalty to win. So even if he actually missed, there still wouldn't have been just on him. Somebody else would have had to have missed. But I just thought when he stood up, I thought straight away, it's almost like a time stood still moment. You're thinking, this is massive for him. In terms of sort of reversing what happened a few weeks ago, getting himself back sort of to a point whereby the United fans sing his name, he's in favour. It was a huge moment, but there was pressure on him. And I wasn't sure, I wasn't confident that, he doesn't look a really comfortable striker of a ball when he sort of is in front of goal. A bit awkward, so you're thinking, well, how's this going to go? But I was delighted for him.
Takes massive bravery, so massive courage. So
well done to him.
An incredible, absolutely, and well done to Ruben Amorim. Maybe he was a part of that. I'd love to know the absolute decision making. If Amorim said, "Look, I trust you. I think you should go fit." I just think that's incredible from all ways round. So there's nothing better than that type of story. So
I always felt as though the criticism towards Joshua Zirkzee was very, very unfortunate and undeserved, if the Big D has to be perfectly honest, because he's a young lad. He's, 23, if that. He's coming to a foreign country. He's a new signing at Manchester United, and he's trained under 3 managers now. He's trained under Ten Hag, he's trained under Ruud van Nistelrooy, and now Ruben Amorim. And none of them have really figured out how to use him properly, just yet. It seems as though Ruben Amorim is starting to figure him out a little bit, but the criticism on the guy, I think, is a little bit unfair. But that's the thing with Manchester United. Manchester United has the dreaded microscope. Haven't spoken about the dreaded microscope for a while. But the dreaded microscope. Any tiny mistake or any piece of news when it comes from Manchester United, the microscope zeroes in. And it's everything just blown out of proportion. Like, say, for instance, David De Gea has been the victim of the dreaded microscope in the past. Harry Maguire, Anthony, he's still kind of there. Joshua Zirkzee as well. He seems to be the latest person that's under the microscope. Even Bruno Fernandes has been criticised by his own fans sometimes because of his so-called attitude on the pitch. But the point I'm making is, it's unfair. It's unfair, particularly on someone like Joshua Zirkzee, who's only just arrived and he's being made a scapegoat, and he'd become a meme almost. Now, I've seen Joshua Zirkzee play a few times this season. I go to the match on a semi-regular basis. I'm going to the Brighton game at the weekend. I was at the Newcastle game when he got booed, and it was horrific. I felt so sorry for the guy, and when he went off, I'm led to believe that he went off because he was actually quite upset. It wasn't that he was, it was a snub to the fans necessarily. He went off because he was quite upset and he was being protected by the coaches, and I just thought that was sad. Manchester United fans are not usually like that, especially with young players. But the thing is, he's about 6'8", and he's built like a brick shit house. So I don't know. Sometimes maybe people forget that he's just the boy, And he hasn't been that bad. The whole team has been awful all season, up until quite recently. So for him to be sort of picked on and zeroed in was unfair. That being said, the Big D has noticed some flashes of talent from the guy. He scored in his debut and he played really well against Everton as well. And that's just been compounded by his attitude and performance against Arsenal. He was excellent. And he's now gone viral. I don't know if anyone's seen it on Instagram, where he absolutely done Saliba, put him on his ass. And there's some fantastic Instagram reels that just shows you that to some graceful music, and it's just brilliant to watch. And the fact that he stepped up and took a penalty, and the winning penalty, just shows you the kind of character that young lad has got. And whether he was told to take it or whether he volunteered to take it is irrelevant, because he took it and he scored it. And I feel as though I agree with Gary. It's a nice piece of redemption for the lad,